Hello and welcome to our 12-part mini-series Harvestable. Join us every Thursday for 15-minute fireside chats with agriculture's most insightful minds in the lead up to harvest. In this episode, we are joined by Harry Gaynor of Paraway Pastoral Company.
Ben Reid here, Head of Growth and Co-founder at AgriDigital, and today on the other line I've got Harry Gaynor, who is working right in the middle of harvest at the moment, up at Warren in central New South Wales. And Harry, he's a junior overseer with Paraway, who's a corporate farming business. And yeah, great to have you on the line today, Harry.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Very good. So I've caught you in the paddock in the middle of harvest. Great that you can take a slice of time out to have a chat to me today. And yeah, maybe just for everyone that's listening, maybe just describe where you are and exactly what you're doing today.
Yeah, so currently we're at Buttabone Irrigation, about 50 kilometres north of Warren. We've been lucky enough to sort of get in some early wheat over the last week or so with this fast rainfall. A lot less than what we've been forecasted for, so we've been lucky enough to start taking a bit of wheat. A couple of days, dodge a lot of this rain that most of New South Wales has been getting today. So things are looking up for us at the moment. The wheat yields are coming. Protein's not exactly up there at the moment, but the potential for some of our Lancer wheat, yeah, looking pretty promising at the moment.
Well, that's good. Yep. I'm glad you've been dodging those storms. Yeah, so I guess the theme, of today's conversation is, working in corporate agriculture. And as I said, you're working for Paraway, who's a fund-managed large farming business in Australia. And yeah, but before we sort of get into what you're doing there now, I always like to try and find out a bit more about the person I'm talking to. So yeah, maybe for everyone's benefit, if you just give us a bit of background on, where you grew up. And, we were just chatting a bit offline about your childhood, growing up on a corporate farm at Moree as well. So yeah, if you wanted to just give us a bit of background on where you've come from.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, grew up at Moree, North New South Wales, on a irrigated and dryland cropping farm, which was a corporate scenario as well. So I spent most of my childhood up there, which is a lovely place with lots of plenty of young people around and good families and plenty of good farming action going on as well. And some schooling down in Sydney. I was lucky enough to do a bit of jackarooing up in the Territory, and by going to study agricultural science down at Sydney University, which was a good experience to have a lot of fun. And after I graduated there with a specialisation in agronomy, I headed back home to Moree to work on a family-run dry land and sheep business for about 18 months, which was good fun, apart from the fact it was mostly a bit of spot spraying and feeding sheep for the middle of the drought. And shortly after, I made the move down to Warren to work for Paraway, where I've been for the last 18 months. And currently based across a couple of properties down here, where the main focus is first cross lambs and a bit of trade cattle, and of course the dryland cropping, which is looking to be another great year compared to last year at the moment.
Yep, sure is. It's good to get two back to back. So thanks for that background. And as you say, I guess you're a little bit unique in some ways, Harry. You've grown up living on a corporate run farm and now working for another in a different part of Australia. But I guess that we wanted to sort of try and discuss today, the life of, or the opportunities, that corporate agriculture has brought. I know that, outside investment in ag's not new. It's been there for donkey's years for a long time. But I guess the capital that corporate agriculture brings in and I guess the framework and structure that it does. So I probably wouldn't mind just trying to understand that a bit better, the experience you've had there with Paraway and for those who haven't worked for one, what does it look like and what does it feel like every day?
Yeah, well, you're right with a few of those things. In my experience, Ben, I guess the benefits of working with corporate ag tend to be a lot of the time the extra capital costs and things associated with that might allow you to better make your decisions around all aspects of the farming and livestock side of things, particularly with machinery and planting costs and stuff like that. And I guess growing up, once you sort of finished school, you started to encounter a few of the stigmas that might have been attached with corporate ag, which I found in some places and not so much in other places, such as, a few stigmas I came across was that corporate ag doesn't exactly treat their employees as well, or that they can be a bit of a dictatorship when it comes to things like safety and work hours, stuff like that. But, compared to my experience with family farming, mate, it was most of those things are pretty similar. I've found to be treated pretty well in both family farming and corporate farming scenarios. I've found a lot of benefits in the way you can connect with your employers, and particularly with Paraway at the moment, it's definitely not your average corporate farm. It's a fairly big family, and I guess the main benefit I've found coming back to a corporate show is the connections that you get to develop with people within the company, within other properties around the region, and within the people in head office in Orange. There's a fairly easy sort of atmosphere for you to share information with each other and contact each other, and obviously with the uptake of technology nowadays, it only makes that sort of sharing of information easier and easier. So I'd say those connections that you get to develop with people are one of the main benefits, I guess, that you come across with corporate ag.
Yeah, I can relate to that, and I guess it doesn't matter, Harry, whether it's a family-run farm or a family-run business, I guess, or a corporate-run business. The structure of each one's going to be different. Where you've got, I'm sure what I'm trying to say is one corporate farm, I'm sure, is different to another corporate farm. It's no different to a family farm. So it would probably depend on the way they outline things in terms of reporting how many hours you work for the week, or how many dollars you spent this week, or how many dollars you made this week. I guess every business is different, but I guess how do you find that side of things? And I guess you've coming in there, you've got you report up to a manager, or that manager reports to another manager. How do you find the reporting there? Because I guess if you talk about family farms, generally it's sometimes a fairly casual conversation with family members. Whereas how do you find that reporting and the communication with those that you report to?
Yeah, no, it's pretty up to spec with the corporate situation. I think managers tend to take good care of making sure that all your hours are jotted down. But obviously, in times like harvest and planting and other crunch times such as landmark, and I think a lot of employees are generally well aware that overtime's a part of the job, really.
Yeah.
And I think corporate ag, there's a fairly good assurance that most managers are aware of the issues related to fatigue management nowadays. It's pretty important that a lot of people in crunch times like this are making sure they're not getting worked overtime and losing sight of what is the main aspect at the end of the day, that you're enjoying your job and that you're not going home without an injury, or not enjoying it because you've just been working too long, lost sight of what you're there for in the first place. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And it sounds like there's a bit of action in the background there, Harry.
Sorry, Ben. Yeah, we're just putting a bit of weight into a silo bag at the moment.
Oh, that's good. No, that's good. Good to have a bit of background noise there. And what your silo bags that you're putting grain into there, Harry? Just to diverge for a second, you're putting a bit of wheat in there.
Yeah, just some wheat in at the moment, Ben, because we've had a bit of logistically we weren't prepared for this dry spell that we sort of had amongst all this rain event. So we've been a bit caught up at the grain corp in town, and trucks aren't able to make it back in time with the amount of drivers that we have. So the bags are also there, which we've used at the start of the harvest to put grain in that might be a bit over moisture spec and not able to deliver at the moment. So something that we can sort of put into short-term storage and get rid of at a later date.
Yep. No, that's fine. And so that's really good. I guess, as you say, health and safety is important for everyone, and job enjoyment. And I'm no different if you're working for corporate farming business or a family business. So I guess just interested in, call it career progression, if you like. I guess working in corporate ag, like where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years' time? Are you wanting to be still working on farm and maybe sort of moving yourself up into a management position, or where do you want to sort of head to yourself?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, actually. I was just sort of having a conversation with a few people about that the other day, and another benefit, I guess, working with corporate is that they're pretty open to the sort of progression you might want to have as an employee when you're a bit lower down the ranks. It doesn't always have to be that you have to climb the ladder to become an overseer and then become an assistant manager and then a manager, There's always the opportunities to be diversified in your skill set. If you want to, work for the company off-farm, in office, go over to a different region and try different environments with farming, I guess. I'm still pretty open to the career progression I'm up for. But I think, the challenge that I like about moving up to a management position is not the technical sort of challenges that come with the job, but some of the social challenges that seem to be the keystones of becoming a good manager, such as people management. You come across a lot of different characters out here working across different properties, which is one of the best aspects about working in agriculture, whether they be backpackers or old-timers and young people like myself. But it seems that one of the things I admire about managers is their way that they can actually bring all those different skill sets and characteristics together to make a working operation 365 days a year, through rain and through drought. That's sort of the way I'm seeing things at the moment for me, I guess.
Yep, very good. It's probably like Harry thinking about. It's almost like a corporate succession plan in many ways. You think about the family farm, trying to work out, a handover or a responsibility, assigning across to different people. Whereas, in what you're doing, that's sort of going to the next level and similar, different, I guess. But that's really good. And I guess just another segue there. If you're filling up a bag there, Harry, you'll be able to get the Waypath app out and into some deliveries into it. I guess for full disclosure, Paraway of trialling the Waypath app out at Buttabone, which is a farm that Harry works on this harvest. So hopefully all's going well there for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. We started off the harvest just unfortunately having to put a lot of our favour beans into storage here because, a lot of challenges down the food supply chain means that no one's taking them at the moment. But we started off using the Waypath app for all our deliveries on farm and storing our favour beans in the silos, and it seemed to work pretty well. And we've since been using the app to hook up to a little thermal printer to print off tickets for each truck delivery going into GrainCorp. I've been showing the app to a few of the truckies and contractors here in the last few days as well. And they're, the age of a lot of these contractors the average age would be above 50, I reckon. And they're all tech savvy enough to know that this is a good idea. They've got experience with it in WA using another app, which I can't remember the name of at the moment, sorry, but it was similar and connected to the grain receival sites, and they will be used by the cockies and the truckies and everyone on site as well. So it's definitely something with progression, and it's just, like many of these apps in ag nowadays, they're getting easier and easier to use. Big buttons, minimal inputs, and easy to follow. A lot of copying and pasting, which is a bit of a pleasure to use, really.
Yep, well, that's what it's designed for. In the field, it has to be, as you say, Harry, it has to be simple with big buttons and easy to use. And I guess, that's what we're trying to deliver there. So great, you're enjoying it. And I'm sure you'll have good, bad and indifferent feedback as we go through harvest. But, good to have you on today and really appreciate your time. I know you're busy there, so I'll let you get back to filling your bag up. But great to have you give some sort of insights into what your journey's been through agriculture and working in corporate agriculture is. I was saying to someone the other day, I think the corporate agriculture for me has set the bar in terms of providing a lot of opportunities and probably making family farms think pretty hard about the way they go about employing people as well. And I think it sounds like you're having a good experience with Paraway, which is fantastic. And appreciate you being on, and good luck with the rest of harvest. Hopefully we get a bit of a dry spell from here.
Yeah, no worries, Ben. Yeah, we'll have a good cracking run after this bit of rain, I reckon. So things looking up for us. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you for listening to Harvestable by Waypath. We hope you enjoyed this fireside chat. Have a great weekend and see you next Thursday.